Hey, this is Garrett over at Conquest Classic Cars here in Greeley, Colorado. Just doing a quick walk around and startup here on our beautiful 1963 Plymouth Sport Fury 426 Max Wedge. This is the 426 Max Wedge that's 11-to-1 compression ratio, 425 horsepower. I believe this motor was rated at from the factory. So you can see this car has undergone just a loving restoration. Restoration occurred back in 2005. I got tons of documentation from when the restoration was done. This was a Southern California bought car, stayed there its whole life in Southern California, and was eventually restored down there in Southern California as well. This is a date code correct 426 Max Wedge motor with all the right pieces. You can see the attention to detail all the way down to the correct fuel filters with the correct hose clamps, correctly labeled heater hoses and coolant hoses. I mean, just a really nice attention to detail. I think if you got a restoration battery for this thing, there really wouldn't be anything that wouldn't be correct 1963 spec. Love those factory exhaust manifolds. It's got to be one of the most wild factory exhaust manifold ever put on a production car. All the chrome was redone. I mean, this is a car that they don't really make very many reproduction parts on it. So when you're restoring one, you really got to use original equipment, which in the end turns out to be a blessing. All this stuff is, you know, original 1963 Chrysler glass. Interior they did a fantastic job with. I really don't know where they make this material, or if you have to have this special made with the original embossed logos in the seats. A little bit of copper on this car really breaks up the black nicely. It's probably one of my favorite parts about this car. See the interior, it's all been redone to factory correct spec and just looks beautiful. Even headliner, correct patterning there in the headliner, just looks beautiful. With the Sport Fury trim, you got all this nice stainless on the inside. Beautiful deluxe two-tone Sport Fury steering wheel there. AM radio. 887 miles on this car since it was restored. Of course, the push buttons over there for your 727 torque flight. Day and night mirror. Jams are beautifully done. Just the way the door shuts, you can tell this is a solid car. Nice consistent panel gaps throughout. Love the attention to detail. Here's the shipping and handling sticker that would have come on this car from the factory. Also, if you notice, it is missing hubcaps for Sport Fury. That's how the 426 Wedge cars were delivered to the dealers when new. Hubcaps off and in the trunk. Speaking of the trunk, I wanted to show you a couple more items here. Like I said, this car comes with a ton of documentation and original literature. In here are the original Sport Fury caps that came on this car. Little information sheet you can hand out at a car show. Chrysler registry certificate. Picture of the original Chrysler data card. Pictures of the original restoration here. Window sticker. Photos of all the work that was done. There's a really cool story. I'll send better photos of this article, but there's a whole story about the restoration of this car. They actually found when they uncovered it, somebody wrote, "Can you dig it?" on the back tail panel of this car at the factory when it was coming down the assembly line, and they uncovered that some 40 years later when they restored it. So great story, tons of documentation. It really doesn't get better than this in the Max Wedge world. Let's go ahead and fire this car up. These cars do have a manual choke. They are known to be a little cold-blooded, but once you let it sit here in idle for a while, warm up, you can drive it down the road. I mean, look at that mirror paint job. There's no waviness in the body, no orange peel in the paint. It really just doesn't get much better than that. Take it down to the drag strip and run it. True sleeper car. Well, one of my favorite aspects is there's no call out badging on this car, no 426 emblems. Really under the radar car that really's got some power to back itself up. Alright, so taking the drive here in the 1963 Sport Fury. Honestly, for being a drag motor, this car has really nice street manners. Right now we're at full operating temperature. You know, at driving speeds, our oil pressure is showing about 45 pounds of oil pressure. It's kind of a cold, windy day. We got the heater working good in here. There's absolutely no wind noise from any of the seals. Zoom back out here, you can see driving down the road, the car drives pretty straight. Typical old car, just a little bit of slop on either side, but about in line for what you'd anticipate from a 63 Sport Fury. Otherwise, once you get into the contact range for the steering, feels good, has a good ratio. I don't feel anything loose. All the lights and turn signal indicators work. Brakes feel good for being manual, full-wheel drum. They'll definitely lock up and stop the car though if you need. Horsepower's there, lots of torque. There's us going right at 40 miles an hour. Down the hill here, you can see how the car steers. Up there really quick. That's probably about a third of the throttle. It feels really nice at higher speeds. Definitely something you can cruise on the highway. It's got 323 rear gears, so out of most of the Max Wedge cars I see, I think this would be one of the more streetable ones that you could buy for sure. Especially being a Sport Fury with some of the nice creature comforts and amenities. This car really wasn't bought to drag race. It was bought just to be a nice street car, and that's exactly what you got here. There's wipers, they work great. Some train tracks. Car handles really nicely over the bumps. You can see even with the bias ply tires and manual steering, the wheels not getting jerked all over the road. Some of these old manual steering cars that really have to manhandle. And you know, this one honestly feels like you got power steering after about 5 miles an hour. The skinny tires up front really make it easy to steer. Car brakes straight. Nice and straight. More bumps. And no rattles, no squeaks. Crosswind, no noise, steering wheel straight. Look at that, that's amazing. Into traffic, so we'll probably cut this video. Thanks again so much for watching. Again, this is Garrett over at Conquest Classic Cars here in Greeley, Colorado. If you have any questions on this car or anything else in our inventory, feel free to give us a call at 970-573-5291. Again, hey, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.